Confession is good for the soul. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. Today I want to share some of my crochet confessions. And so for some reason I was thinking about actually a project I'm working on that has a couple of quote unquote issues with it. And it made me think, what are some other things that I do wrong in crochet? Now, before you leap to my defense, please understand that I'm not coming down on myself. I think in my video description I say, bear with me as I learn the craft. Even though I've been crocheting for a while, I'm still in a learning process and I'm okay with that. This is something that I enjoy learning, and so when I make mistakes, then I want to go back and think, what was it about that I could change? How could I improve? So it's not like I think I'm a bad crocheter or that I'm concerned about the crochet police or anything like that. I mean, crochet police don't exist. You do you, make what you love. This is also kind of how culture is built and how things and new traditions are started, is that innovation, those kind of quirky things. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about the things that I do wrong, or even in some regard, the things that I have learned or things that I want to go back and rectify. And I was wondering if you might share some of these, or if there's something in your life where you're like, you know what, I really don't do that right, but I don't mind, or let's talk about it so that we don't have to feel that shame. It's really easy when you see beautiful projects, maybe on Instagram or other social media, or even here on YouTube, and it's easy to kind of feel down on ourselves and think, oh, I don't do it quite right. Mine doesn't turn out that way. Maybe you do a pattern and it doesn't look like the pattern designer's does. We're all different. These hands are unique, and so are yours, and your perspective is unique as well. So I thought, let's talk about the kind of confessions, the things that we do wrong, and take them from a realm of, I don't really like thinking about this, to something that we can either celebrate or embrace. There's a beautiful quote from the book A Wrinkle in Time, where the character is given a gift, and she's given the gift of her imperfections, her faults. And there's something in that when we can embrace that really, it's like it eases a weight off of us. And also to know that we're all unique, we're all different, and what might be a fault to us is really a beauty to someone else. So let's get into it. The first thing that I do when I crochet that is unique, I've talked about it in several different videos, I yarn over backwards. The standard way to crochet is to yarn over from behind the hook to go over the hook into the front. But I yarn over starting with the yarn in front, and I yarn over towards the back. This is a quirk that I developed because I learned before the age of YouTube, and I didn't have anyone to compare it to. Actually, I learned kind of a stair step in some ways. My great-grandmother crocheted, she taught my aunt taught me. So I didn't get directly from the source, and it's just something that I've never really wanted to change. The only time that I find that is challenging is in, I think, half double crochets. When you want to crochet into the third loop, that can affect how you, what the stitches look like. It does have some small effect on what the stitches look like as they kind of play out, but for me it's never been that big of an issue. But it is technically a wrong thing. I will say too, I was talking to one of my little cousins, a first cousin once removed, when we were connecting over yarn, and she says that she also crochets and yarns over from the front to the back, and I thought, oh, we'll call that a family trait. But she hadn't met anyone like that either, so I thought it was actually really sweet that this thing that we did wrong actually brought us together in a really precious way. I'm looking down at my notes here. The second thing that I want to confess, and this is this is one that really gave me pause because I have a tutorial that involves a stitch that I do wrong, and that is the linked treble crochet. So how did I figure out I did this wrong? I honestly was just thinking about the way that my little tutorial played out. Maybe I was searching for it, maybe I wasn't, but it said how to do the linked treble crochet the right way. And I realized, people talk about linked stitches and how they emulate Tunisian crochet, and mine never quite looked like that, which is not a problem. They still look really beautiful. I still really love the look of linked crochet. It makes a more solid thing rather than when you have a treble crochet and it kind of creates those spaces. But I saw a video by Nastasia, and I'll have that linked below, that shows the correct way to link your treble crochets. And it is indeed very different than how I do mine. I don't know what I created. It's probably my own thing, but when I'm talking to people about crochet and people might say, oh, how is it different from knitting? I say it really does make a big difference where you put your hook. It's really easy in crochet to pull out your work and fix a mistake. It's not like in knitting where you have all these different loops and you have to put in a lifeline and all these things. But in crochet, it's just that one loop. But you can put your stitches in so many different places, and that really does affect the way that your piece looks and turns out. And that was the case here in linked treble crochet in the way that I was doing it. And I will continue doing this, by the way. Maybe I'll switch it up. Maybe I'll show the differences in another video. But I was going into like a top bar rather than a side bar. Anyway, if you're curious, I will leave my little tutorial that I have showing the incorrect way of doing linked treble, and you can compare that to Nastasia's. Another thing that I do is I tend to make my chains really tight. And y'all, I've done this for a while, and it's one thing when you're just making a small piece, but it ends up where the starting chain is one length and it just kind of grows into a trapezoid as you go. Now I know a solution to this could be to go up a hook size when I'm doing my chains. I just haven't done that very often. And to be honest, I'm working on a project right now where that is kind of significant, where one side is significantly shorter than the other side. Let me see if I can show you. I still have this in process, so it might not work out fully, but I am working on the sleeves at present. But yeah, here is the side with the original chains, and here's the other side. So I didn't realize this for a while, but yeah, my starting chains were so tight that it was pulling up the sweater here. And so that's at least 3, if not 4 or 4.5 inches of difference. I hope that this will come out in the blocking. I've gone so far, I'm not going to go back and redo this. And at the end of the day, it's something that's meant to be loose, and there's no one that's going to be going around policing me saying, oh my gosh, your sweater is uneven. They're going to say, oh my gosh, that sweater is so cool. Did you make it? It fits you so well. Things like that. But that is something that I want to keep in mind. I do tend to make my chains a little extra tight, and I just don't, for whatever reason, I don't go through the effort of like sizing up my hook in order to give me a finished product that I actually like a lot better. So hopefully this is going to be a project that will kind of come out in the blocking, but that kind of leads into 2 other of my confessions, maybe 3. Number 1, I don't always block. Y'all, I need to. I have a sweater vest over here that I tried on, and if I had put in just 1 more row of stitches, it would have fit perfectly, but I decided not to, and I could block it. I just haven't. I need to do that. That's, in some ways, that's me reminding myself like, oh yeah, if it doesn't fit right, you can block it. A lot can happen in blocking if you're using a wool or a wool blend, or even a cotton blend like a natural fiber. That's going to work a lot better. So that's something I don't always do, is blocking, but that is something that I want to emphasize in the future, and at least for these pieces. When I'm finished with this sweater, I'll probably just do like a mass blocking. I'll do that piece and this one as well. But in the meantime, it kind of falls in the category of something that I didn't really try on enough as I was working on it. I could have fixed it if I had taken the extra time. And then the other thing that I want to say is I sometimes will pretend, I will pretend that I love something when really it's just not quite right. I'm one of those people where sometimes the details matter. Now, not in all of life. I'm not going around judging and being nitpicky and all that kind of stuff. But in the things that I make, that's something where I'm putting in a lot of effort, a lot of time. And so I want my final product to be something that I genuinely enjoy. I don't want it to be just a little bit off, like, oh, it's perfect except for this. Because sometimes for me, that little thing will just bother me. And again, it kind of leads into life in general, right? Like there's so little that we can actually control. I can't control what the styles are going to be at the store. I can't control the things that are going to be available to buy. But if I'm hand making a piece of clothing or a piece of crochet then I want to be able to control exactly how that fits, and I want it to be just right. It's kind of like tailoring clothes, except instead of working in fabric where you like do your little tucks and do your little darts and do all these little things to make it just right, you know, you fix your hems, you stand and you measure. Instead of doing that with a sewing machine, you're doing it by creating the fabric itself. And so when it doesn't fit right, for me, it bothers me. And so then I will pretend to like it or love it and not really. Full disclosure. So here's one of those pieces. Y'all, I made this and I did a video about how I loved it. This is a cardigan that I tried a new pattern for me. It was a great pattern, and it's a moss stitch cardigan. But what I realized when I wear it, number one, I just don't tend to wear this. And part of it is because I did make another cardigan that's a similar color. But y'all, look at this. On this cardigan, it ends about, what is that? Like 3.5 inches from my neck. And so I realized that I did not give myself nearly enough space here. My shoulders are fairly broad for my size, and I need to take that into consideration. So the consequence is I almost never wear this cardigan, even though I loved it, and I loved it at the time, but as I wore it more and more, or as I tried it out, I'm like, I don't really love it. I was kind of lying to myself that I loved it when really I don't. And because of that, I am going to put this in the giveaway pile. I'm going to make sure that someone else can have it and love it because it's a great piece. It's 100% cotton. It's a beautiful color. It's rich without being overbearing, and hopefully someone will really enjoy it. It's a good kind of lightweight but still warm kind of piece. The only thing is it just doesn't fit me quite right, and so yeah, I can lie to myself, but I can't really deceive myself. Like I know when I'm not fully telling the truth to myself, right? I don't know if you're the same way, but deep down I'm like, I loved it, but really I don't. And part of it maybe is the fact that I love having it completed. I love that I tried it. I love that I finished it. But that is something that I struggle with too sometimes, because there's this moment where you finish something and you get that burst of joy and you're like, this is amazing. I made the thing. It's so cool. But then over time, you might start to think, I start to think, oh, is this exactly what I need it to be? Is this exactly what I want it to be? And so that is something I want to work on. Kind of a confession right now of me not being 100% honest when I love something or have kind of an issue with something that I've made. But that is, again, that's something I want to bring to the light here and just throw it out there and say, hey, I'm human too. And this is one of the things that influences me as I crochet. That kind of tendency to love the process and love the completion without necessarily loving the actual product that I've made, loving the application of it, loving how it looks on me. So all of that to say, just kind of some food for thought, some of the things that maybe I struggle with, some of the things that I don't do quite right, and quite right also in air quotes, because again, there is no crochet police. This is a craft that we do because we love it, because we want to make something wonderful. We want to take something as chaotic as a pile of yarn and turn it into something beautiful, something fun, something useful, something that will keep you warm, something that'll be adorable, something that brings you joy or brings someone else joy. So in terms of like the heaviness to it, there isn't really heaviness, but I thought it would be fun to just kind of talk about the things that don't do this quite right, and see if anyone else might be in the same boat, just to have a little bit of fun in there and a little bit of connection with y'all and a little bit of philosophizing in there as well. So y'all, thank you so much for listening to me talk about crochet, talk about the things that I'm excited about, the things that I want to learn, things that I want to grow from, but also just the things that make me unique as a crocheter, right? We're not supposed to be the same, and that's okay. You want to color with all the different colors of crayons in the crayon box, not just red, yellow, and blue. So all that to say, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I am curious to know if you have any kind of crochet confessions that you might want to talk about. I wonder how many people are as similar as you and me. And then in general, thank you to everyone who has liked and commented and subscribed and done all those kind of YouTube algorithmic things. Y'all, thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed. Y'all keep finding this channel, and I really do appreciate that, despite my somewhat off and on upload schedule. It's not really a schedule these days. I do what I can, but I appreciate y'all being here. If for whatever reason I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much for listening this long. I really do appreciate you, and I do hope I'll see you again soon.